Your brain is arguably the most complex object in the known universe. Roughly 86 billion neurons, each connected to thousands of others, forming networks so intricate that we're still nowhere close to fully understanding how they work. But here's the thing about this extraordinary organ. It changes based on how you use it. Your brain is constantly rewiring itself, forming new connections, strengthening pathways you use frequently, and pruning away ones you don't. This process, called neuroplasticity, means your brain's capabilities aren't fixed. They can improve or decline, depending on what you do with them. The problem is that modern life doesn't naturally challenge your brain much. You've outsourced memory to your phone, navigation to GPS, calculation to computers. Your daily routine is probably so automated that you could do most of it half asleep. But the reverse is also true. Simple, deliberate exercises can strengthen cognitive abilities, improve focus, enhance memory, speed up mental processing. So let's explore 7 evidence-based brain exercises you can start doing today. No special equipment required, just a willingness to make your brain work a little harder than it's used to. Imagine a 5x5 grid containing the numbers 1 through 25, randomly arranged. Your task is simple. Find all the numbers in ascending order as quickly as possible. But here's the twist. You have to keep your eyes focused on the center of the grid the entire time, using only your peripheral vision to locate each number. This exercise is called a Schultz table, and it's remarkably effective at training several cognitive functions simultaneously. First, it improves processing speed. Your brain has to rapidly scan, identify, and react to information in your peripheral vision. The more you practice, the faster this process becomes. Second, it expands your effective field of vision. Most people rely heavily on their central vision and barely use peripheral information. The Schultz table forces you to pay attention to the entire visual field at once. Third, it improves concentration. Maintaining focus on the center while searching the periphery requires sustained attention. Your brain can't wander. The goal is to complete the table in under 30 seconds. Beginners typically take a minute or more. With practice, you can get much faster. Do this for a few minutes daily, and you'll notice improved visual processing and attention span. Look at the word red, written in blue ink. Now say the color of the ink out loud. Not the word, the color. Your first instinct is to say red, because reading is so automatic for you. But the correct answer is blue. This conflict between what you read and what you see is called the Stroop effect. This exercise works because it forces your brain to suppress an automatic response in favor of a deliberate one. Reading words is so deeply ingrained that your brain does it without thinking. Saying the ink color requires you to consciously override this automatic process. This strengthens executive function, the set of mental skills that help you control your thoughts and actions. Specifically, it improves inhibitory control, your ability to suppress irrelevant information and focus on what matters. It also enhances cognitive flexibility, your capacity to switch between different mental tasks. When you're constantly toggling between reading the word and identifying the color, you're training your brain to be more adaptable. Regular practice can improve your ability to concentrate on distracting environments, multitask more efficiently, and make decisions when faced with conflicting information. Close your eyes and try to write your name, or draw a simple shape like a square or circle, or navigate from your bedroom to your kitchen. Suddenly, tasks that are trivially easy with your eyes open become challenging. Without visual feedback, you have to rely entirely on spatial memory, proprioception, and mental mapping. This is exactly why blindfolded tasks are so effective for brain training. When you remove vision, your primary sense, your brain is forced to rely more heavily on other systems. This strengthens neural pathways that you normally don't use as much. Spatial memory improves because you have to mentally track where you are in space without seeing. Proprioception, your sense of where your body parts are relative to each other, becomes more refined, and your mental models of familiar spaces become more detailed. Studies show that people who regularly practice tasks without visual input develop stronger spatial reasoning and better overall memory recall. Your brain becomes less dependent on external cues and better at reconstructing information internally. Start with simple tasks. Write the alphabet with your eyes closed. Try to draw basic shapes. Walk around your home without looking. Make a peace sign with your right hand and an OK sign with your left hand. Now switch them. Peace sign left, OK sign right. Now switch back. Keep alternating as fast as you can. If you're like most people, this feels absurdly difficult. Your hands want to mirror each other. They want to do the same thing. Making them perform different, contradictory movements requires intense concentration. This is because your brain's motor control systems prefer symmetry. Coordinating asymmetric movements requires your left and right hemispheres to work more independently, which doesn't come naturally. But that difficulty is precisely what makes this exercise valuable. When you force your brain to coordinate complex, asymmetric movements, you're strengthening the corpus callosum, the bundle of nerve fibers connecting your brain's two hemispheres. Better interhemispheric communication improves overall coordination, enhances problem solving by allowing both sides of your brain to work together more efficiently, and can even improve balance and fine motor skills. You can practice this anywhere, anytime. No equipment needed, just your hands and a willingness to feel temporarily incompetent. Your dominant hand has had decades of practice. The neural pathways controlling it are well established, efficient highways of electrical signals. Your non-dominant hand's pathways are more like rarely used dirt roads. When you force yourself to use your non-dominant hand for everyday tasks, you're essentially paving new roads in your brain. Writing, brushing your teeth, eating, using a mouse. Any task you normally do with your dominant hand becomes a brain training exercise when you switch. This works because learning any new motor skill requires building new neural connections. Your brain has to figure out how to control muscles it's not used to controlling with that level of precision. Research shows that people who regularly use their non-dominant hand show increased activity in both brain hemispheres. They develop better overall motor control, improved cognitive flexibility, and even enhanced creativity. The difficulty curve is steep at first. Everything feels clumsy and slow. But that's the point. Your brain grows most when it's struggling, not when it's coasting on autopilot. Start with low-stakes tasks. Brushing your teeth or eating with your non-dominant hand is perfectly safe and highly effective. Not all brain training is created equal. Passively watching TV or scrolling social media doesn't count, even though your brain is technically active. Your brain needs to be challenged, not just entertained. This is where deliberate cognitive games come in. Sudoku, chess, crossword puzzles, riddles, strategy games. Activities that require genuine problem solving, pattern recognition, and decision-making under constraints. The key characteristic these activities share is that they're mentally demanding. You can't zone out. You have to actively think, plan, and adapt. Chess improves planning and foresight. You have to think several moves ahead, anticipate your opponent's strategy, and adapt your plan based on changing conditions. Sudoku strengthens logical reasoning and pattern recognition. You're constantly testing hypotheses, eliminating possibilities, and making deductions. Crossword puzzles and word games enhance verbal memory and vocabulary retrieval. You're constantly accessing your semantic memory and making connections between concepts. The important thing is variety. Your brain adapts to any specific challenge over time, so mixing up the types of cognitive games you play ensures you're exercising different mental muscles. Even 15 minutes a day of focused cognitive games can produce measurable improvements in memory, processing speed, and problem-solving ability. Your smartphone is essentially an external hard drive for your brain. Phone numbers, addresses, appointments, calculations, navigation, facts. Everything is instantly accessible, which means you never have to remember anything. This is incredibly convenient. It's also making your memory weaker. Memory works through encoding, storage, and retrieval. When you don't regularly encode and retrieve information because your phone does it for you, those neural pathways atrophy. The solution isn't to abandon technology entirely. It's to deliberately make your brain work when it doesn't have to. Memorize important phone numbers instead of relying entirely on contacts. Do simple math in your head instead of immediately reaching for the calculator. Try to navigate to familiar places without GPS, using your mental map. Write things down by hand instead of typing them. The physical act of writing engages different neural pathways and improves memory retention compared to typing. These small acts of deliberate difficulty force your brain to stay active. You're strengthening the very cognitive abilities that modern convenience is letting atrophy. Studies consistently show that people who regularly challenge their memory through deliberate practice maintain better cognitive function as they age. Notice the common thread through all these exercises. They're deliberately harder than necessary. You could find numbers in a grid by moving your eyes freely. You could say the word instead of the color. You could keep your eyes open. You could use your dominant hand. You could let your phone remember everything. But making things harder is the point. Your brain doesn't grow from comfort. It grows from challenge. Every time you force your brain to work a little harder than it wants to, you're strengthening it. The beauty of these exercises is that they're simple, free, and effective. No expensive apps or programs required. Just a willingness to make your brain do some actual work. Your brain is the most adaptable organ you have. What you do with it today shapes what it's capable of tomorrow.